Are you ready to take action to attain the lifestyle of your dreams?
It's a great way to make a lot of money fast.
Hey, what's going on, Clever Investors? Welcome back to another episode of the Clever Investor Show. I'm your host, Cody Sperber, the OG Clever Investor. Clever Investor number one. We're back in the studio. I got my business partner, Bryant. We got Max in the house, who runs our investing division. And, last episode, I kind of came out of the gate swinging and I said, listen, no more freaking interviews, no more going on tangents. We're all real estate the next 50 hot episodes.
Ooh,
all making money, financial literacy, getting in the right mindset, and just focus. Sometimes that's what you need to do. You just need to get laser focused. The world is very uncertain right now. There's all kinds of stuff going on out there. We cannot control any of it, but we can control what we do on a daily basis to control our little local economy. And that's why our number one mission over the next 50 episodes is to help you make money quickly as a creative real estate investor. And so got the boys. The boys are back in town.
Yes,
Let's go.
Super excited. Stoked, man.
I walked up.
Go ahead.
No, hit it.
We're just coming back fired up after the Build Well Summit. I mean, by the way, Jerome Maldonado is a beast, man.
He killed it.
The best part about it, he goes,
my speech?
You're going to, yeah. Well, your speech.
If you ask me, the best
was,
part about his summit was my
your
talk.
speech
I didn't
was
get to
very
hear
good.
it, so I have to hear it, and I'll tell you. I'll give you feedback.
I loved how Jerome said, when finding a partner, when finding somebody to do business in, it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 11.
Yep.
And that really resonated with me because it was like, honestly, enough of like, hey, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Nothing. What are you up to?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we should be partners. Let's do it.
Right.
Let's do some deals. Let's do some.
Yep.
It's what are you lacking in your own business? Whether it's core values or whether you're
It's being intentional, right? Intentional.
it's having the synergy.
Having that synergy and the intentionality to move it forward.
Are you saying that you should just go to a RIA meeting and meet some stranger and be like, let's partner. Let's form a bank account together.
I just think it's all found.
Let's create documents.
It's all foundational at this point because otherwise time is so precious, right? And you can get involved with the wrong people.
Deanna Peters.
It's literally no more friends. No more friends in business.
Yeah.
It's business first. So I think that, today's podcast, we can talk a little bit about, choosing the right properties, choosing the right lenders, choosing the right partners, choosing the right,
I love that.
Yep.
Okay.
Dude, I chose the wrong partners initially.
Okay.
I'm not talking about you. You're a great partner. You're the best partner I've ever
I
had.
was going, but it's all good.
He did look at you, but I was like, no, I don't think you meant that.
Look, we've all had learning lessons. I don't think that we've chosen wrong.
Yeah.
I chose wrong.
I think, okay.
No, it was a painful, like, I don't even remember how much. It was either 60 or 90K. I don't remember, but Deanna Peters, I partnered with her. I met her at a RIA meeting. I was doing pre-foreclosures at the time. She told me that she was an expert at short sale negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
I had been a solopreneur up until that point, never wanting to partner with anybody. And she told me, hey, look, you're great at the lead gen. I can help on the back end working with the banks. She was like in mortgages or something for a while. So she knew like mortgages and how to talk to banks.
Mm-hmm.
And sold me this vision.
Yep.
What do? Immediately I look, oh, hey, you seem like a nice person.
Yeah.
We seem like we're trying to make some money both in the same niche. Let's go ahead and partner up.
Yeah.
So like a dumbass, I'm forming bank accounts, I'm forming LLCs. God, I wish I could remember the name of that company. Foreclosure. I can't remember. This was a lot of years ago, 20 years ago. And so anyways, we formed this thing. And you know how long a short sale takes to negotiate. It takes months and months and months.
Sometimes
so for the first 2-3 months was setting up the business.
Yep.
By the way, people think that you set up a business and you're operational like the next day. That's not how it works.
No.
It takes time to put the structure together and to get the branding and get the website and get the bank account set up and all that.
But you don't want to have that stuff hold you back either, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but it took but what I'm saying is it took like a month to get all that stuff together. And then, now you're generating leads and you're processing things, and it takes like 2, 3, 4 months to get your first. It took us 5.5 months to get our first deal.
Right.
Yep.
By the time it closed during that 5.5 months, a lot has changed in her world, and I never knew it because I never knew her.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about her.
Yep.
And I end up.
Did you do your research, or did you just
research?
listen
I'm
to
early
what she told
20s.
you?
No, I'm a 20. She was an older lady. I was
Got
in my young 20s. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
Sales guy, bro.
Yeah, I'm a sales guy. I'm out
He
there.
called, remember when you call? I think you called me like 2 days ago, and he's like, "Hey, can you come outside real quick?" So I hang up, and I go outside. And he calls me back. "Hey, I'm not physically outside." I said, "Hey, you got to be more specific when talking to the sales guys, bro."
Gotta be real clear. So anyway, she cleaned out my bank account. When we closed that first big deal, I don't remember if it was 60 or 80 or 90K, but it was a lot of money, and it was our first big win. And I had been floating. My part of the deal was I put up all the money and I brought all the leads, and she did all the work. And on the back end of it, we were supposed to split the profits. And then she cleaned out the bank account.
So when we put a tenant in one of our properties, we run a background check.
Yep.
But when we partner with somebody, did you run a
we take it out
background
the
check?
No, I should have.
See, that's the thing is we constantly are doing the big things on the little things, and we're forgetting to do, the big things on the big things.
Yeah, if common sense was only common to a 23-year-old. Yeah, but I mean, and that's a great lesson for you guys. Hopefully you guys learn from that mistake is you want to find a partner that is actually synergistic. If you're really great at sales, they have to be great at operations. At the same time, I didn't know she was in foreclosure on her own home.
Wow.
I didn't know that she was going through a divorce. I didn't know she was having financial problems. She hid that from me. Yeah. I should have known. I had to put up all the damn money.
Yeah, right.
She wasn't even offering anything. She was always stressed about money, always like asking me. And the first warning sign, she would take materials that I bought for our company and use them in her mortgage business. And I caught her one day and I said, "Why are you using all of our resources over in your other company?" And she was like, "Oh, my bad. It was just a mistake."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay." But I should have known she was having financial.
So that means that what you're saying is basically for those out there that are maybe trying to partner because an opportunity comes up, they should vet that opportunity, right? They should not just jump into it. And, obviously something I learned a long time ago is you get to a point where you say no to more things than you actually say yes, but you have to learn how to actually do that because you could say no to the right opportunity as well too, and sometimes you have to take those chances.
It could be little things. It could be as small as a contractor going to the Home Depot and using your account and you seeing a Snickers bar, a Gatorade, and just small things on the receipts. And don't overlook that because if he's willing to take a $2 item or a $4 item, he's willing to take 300 square feet of LVP flooring that was excess. So it's always be, very hyper aware of what's going on and who you're working with because, trust is built, not given.
Think about this and we can move on past the partnership thing because, not everybody wants to have partners. After I got burnt, I didn't want partners for a long time. I thought, I'll just do it on my own. It's safer. And I was like super hesitant to
ever
give
you a visionary?
equity.
Are you an integrator? If you're doing it on your own, you better have both.
Yeah. But think about this, and maybe you've heard this in other podcasts, but if not, you need 4 things to have a successful partnership.
Boom, let's go.
That's it. Number 1, you need to have extreme alignment and clarity about what it is you guys are doing.
Right.
Yep.
Right? So it's like that planning, that focus, that this is what we do. And it's very clear. It's not we do 65 things. It's we do this one thing phenomenally well, and we're going to drive towards this goal.
Yep.
This is how we do it. Number 2, the SOPs, the system, the structure, the process around it. So you got to have clarity on that and alignment of this, because if you guys are fighting over the how we get it done part, that's a break of rapport. And then you need to know why you do it. You need to have a mission-based business. If it's just money, you're going to find yourself in the situation that me and Deanna were in, where she believed that she needed the money more than me.
Yeah.
And she just took it and it flayed the whole business. So the why is important. It's hard to get to the why sometimes. And this is really going upstream, getting to know the person, getting to know their family, getting to know what drives them, getting to know their biggest fears, their biggest excitement in their future, what they really want out of life. But then the 4th one is the hardest one. And that's the one that I have failed at many times, but I do a much better job now. And that's the what's in it for you if we do it all together.
Nice.
The complete clarity of like the big split.
Yep.
At the end of the day. And
Absolutely.
even us, Bryant, when we first started, it was all about making money, but we quickly shifted to wealth building.
Correct. Yep.
And we were both in alignment of that. And we both said, listen, we're going to sacrifice a lot of the today money for the tomorrow.
Delayed gratification is one of the most powerful things out there. living in abundance, putting it out there and not expecting anything in return. It's kind of like, buying rentals. It's like, we're just going to put it out there. We're going to buy it. We're not going to, a couple $100 a month cash flow. But you sit there and you look at those seeds that got planted, and eventually 5-10 years down the road, those all turned into, extremely well investments. In fact, some of our best investments are the one we always hold on to. I was talking to Pace Morby at the Build Well Summit backstage, and he explained to me that 85% of his real estate investing strategy is buy and hold now.
Brilliant.
And before it was 85% wholesale and fix and flip. So you got to think, sooner than later in this real estate industry, what is your quick cash and what is your delayed gratification? Another great human being and real estate investor that's actually going to come speak at our Deal Exchange meetup that we have at our office once a month at dealexchangemeetup.com. If you're local, please come check us out. It's free food, free drinks.
We're in Arizona, by the way. If you're new to the podcast, we're here in Tempe, Arizona.
Tempe, Arizona. Yeah, you can RSVP at dealexchangemeetup.com. But Zachary Keeps is going to come. He's one of the top investors in the whole state of Arizona. And all he does is buy and hold. He's got about 300 or so single family homes.
The biggest individual single family home.
And he preaches delayed gratification. Now he's able to get unlimited lines of credit because he pays off 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 homes, and he's able to, use the free and clear to get whatever. So if there's ever a deal, he's the quickest one. He can give you an answer in 5 minutes or less. And, it's one of those things where if he was just flipping, if he was just wholesaling, and then he was trying to invest into the next private equity thing or the next, would he have that, loanability from a bankability, and the ability to impulse and make quick decisions like he is. And he doesn't want to quit anytime soon. He wants to go another 20 years, even though he's been doing it for 20 years. Well, so that's the whole thing is that's his why, is because he enjoys the delayed gratification and the ability to have the freedom it gives you.
I think two things too when you look at an individual like that, and is there's two things, right? Is he chose the vehicle and then the discipline to go after that vehicle. A lot of people have their hands in everything, but aren't really absolutely doing anything, right? And having that discipline and choosing that vehicle and having that discipline to just focus solely on that and know that's going to work. That's huge too, man. I see this a lot where people don't have that discipline to follow through on the things that they're going to commit to, right? They do it for a little bit and then they go somewhere else.
Well, think about it. What's the definition of integrity?
Doing the thing you said you were going to do when no one's looking.
I want to challenge everybody to that's what almost everybody would say. Right. And you're right. You're right. That is integrity, is doing what you say you're going to do. My spin on it is keeping the promises that you made to yourself.
I love that.
Because it's not just doing the thing you said you would do for others. It's doing the thing you said you would do for yourself. And that's really when you're in alignment with your words and your actions and your thoughts, and you're in integrity with yourself, all the other stuff works itself out. Right. And so since you brought it up, let's talk about money for a little bit, because, part of the biggest fear of real estate investors is I don't have money to invest. Right. Or I don't know where to get money. Like for me, when I first started, just coming from an environment where I didn't have, my dad was my most successful person around me. He was, making 60, 70 grand a year, and he's my most successful connection. I didn't know anybody else. Maybe I might've had a friend that had a dad that was doing okay, but I didn't know, And so my biggest fear in the beginning was like, how am I going to come up with money to do real estate deals? I didn't have an answer. So my solution to that was just go make money. Yeah. Right. And so I leaned in on wholesaling, then eventually rehabbing. Now that I know what I know, I'm like, oh my God, I should have been positioning myself to start to raise money. More people than you think have money around you. More people than you think want to put money in real estate deals. So Bryant, as part of our partnership, just so you guys know, one of Bryant's main core functions is the capital part of it. He makes sure we got a lot of rental properties, we got a lot of commercial developments, we got a lot of residential big new construction developments. All of that takes a tremendous amount of financing. We could not do it if it was just coming out of our own pocket. We have to use OPM, other people's money. So Bryant, what are some, like, if you were to talk to a brand newbie, like Cody on day one, no successful people, I don't have any real money, I don't even have barely any credit card abilities. Yeah. What's the word I'm looking for? Credit card. What's the word I'm thinking? Like
credit
money
card
on my credit,
qualification.
available credit on my credit card.
Yeah. Well,
What would you do?
First, we can fix that, right? Start an LLC.
Yep.
Get a business credit card. Get lines up to 150,000 with 0% interest for up to the first 12 months.
Yeah, but what if I'm 18? I'm 19 years old.
You can get a credit card. You can get a line of credit for your business, and you can have 0% interest for 12 months. You can start a second LLC, get a second business card. There's a lot of people that teach us stuff. Scotty Tregellis is one of those guys. At the event this weekend with Jerome, they had another sponsor there that was teaching $150,000 lines of credit on credit cards just for setting up LLCs. That's number one, because how much do you really think you need? If you have, let's say, a $200,000 opportunity wholesale deal that comes across, it's worth $300,000. It needs probably $40K in work, so it's going to be about $240 as far as the as far as the loan to cost and loan to value of what any lender is going to look at. They're going to look at three things. One is ARV. If you don't know what ARV stands for, it's after repair value. What is it going to work? What is it going to be worth when you're done with the renovations? We're forcing appreciation through renovation, guys. That's how we're value adding. That's how we're mitigating risk. That's how we're taking some of the risk away from any investor or private lender. However, we're also, I'll get to it in a little bit, but we're also going to talk about how that you can have a lender that can actually be secured by real estate at 70 cents on the dollar. All right. So now it's a little bit less risky for them because they understand your model, because you have a business plan, you have a credibility deck, you have, even if you weren't in charge of the fix and flips by yourself, you could have been a partner or a silent partner or even an agent or even just a contractor or a wholesaler. Anybody that was part of a real estate transaction can take that into their credibility deck and say, this is the address, this is the purchase price, this is the renovation cost, this is how we identified what we wanted to do to add the most value and put our dollars where it's actually going to increase the value, instead of putting it all in the lawn or the backyard or adding a pool and forgetting about the kitchen, the baths, or adding an additional bedroom. Those are some of the things that are going to force appreciation. So I would always encourage looking at a property, and if you don't have the money or the wherewithal or the want or the need to do it all by yourself, go find an investor like Zachary Keeps or somebody in the neighborhood that's doing good transactions. How do you find that? You pull up cash transactions on PropStream, Deal Automator. You figure out who's actually closing deals, and then you show up to the job site. You meet their team. You eventually skip trace and find the owner and say, hey, when's the next time you're going to be at 123 East Monroe? I swung by it. I met Jose. He's doing a great job. I'm a newer investor, newbie, just trying to learn the game. And obviously, I'd love to find your next deal for you. I see that you paid about $180 a square foot for this one. If I was to happen to find one in the neighborhood, same subdivision, for around that cost, would you like me to show it to you? Be a deal finder for somebody, and then say, by the way, do you think you can be an open book on this thing? Maybe there's a way that I could, check on your property once a week, give you some updates. I'm sure that you're busy and you're doing stuff. I'd be happy to just run by the crew, buy them lunch, and just kind of, understand where the project is going each week and give you a synopsis. I don't want anything in exchange. I just want to learn through the process what happens on week 1, what happens on week 2, what happens on week 3, and go through the motions and then add that to your credibility deck.
Yeah, I love that.
I just want to repeat a couple things that you said, because you were just kind of gunning. I just wanted to let you go. So first off, and I think this is really, really important. Step number 1, always, when you are new and you're trying to get to a place where you can successfully raise money, whether that's through private lenders or even going to a bank, a professional institution, and saying, hey, I'm going to start an account with you guys. I'd like to get a credit card. I'd like to get a line of credit, whatever that is. Phase 1 is always educating yourself. You need to pick a market, and you need to know as much about that market as possible. You need to pick a strategy, and you need to know as much about that strategy as possible. You rattled off like, oh, I see you built for X amount per square foot. I know that average days on market in this area are this. I know that the after repaired value in this area is this. That's because you are a professional at what you do. You're doing your market analysis. You're understanding how research works. You know the language of how real estate investors talk. So that's always phase 1, is education. Phase number 2 is as you're starting, you mentioned this, go find a Zach, go find a somebody else. You got to squat up. You got to find somebody in your area, either through hiring a mentor or somebody local. They don't have to necessarily be local, but you can find them online. You can find them in a group. You can find them down at the RIA. You can find them locally by driving around and trying to find like projects and stuff that are happening in real time. But you got to get proximity to other players. And by doing that, you're going to start to do one of two things. You're either going to find yourself in a deal where you can learn through failure, learn through success, learn through your own deal making, or you're going to be able to leverage, which is the most powerful word in our business. Like, think about it. Like, we are professional leveragers, and you can leverage somebody else's credibility. When you first got into the business, you leveraged my credibility.
100%.
Every meeting you went to. What was the first thing you said?
I'm Cody Sperber's business partner.
Yes, and it opened the doors.
Correct.
And I leveraged Lyle Wall's credibility. I leveraged somebody else. I was always leveraging other people's credibility. It's because that's number two, is you got to build a track record. And then number 3 and 4, you mentioned, which is create a plan, a business plan, and then create a legal entity. So those are your first few steps. And by the way, we have great partners over at Prime Corporate Services. Steve Harward, good friend of mine, owns that business. He'll set up legal entities for you.
Actually, you can go to codysconnections.com and click on the Prime link, and they'll set up, I think, your first LLC at no charge.
Damn.
So it's an amazing resource. And look, you set up a trust. Then you have holding LLCs. Then the LLCs are owned by the holding LLC. Then you have the spinoff, and asset protection is one of the most beautiful things, because you can literally get away without having to pay taxes legally through the way that you set up. So Prime Corporate Services will help you do that.
Yeah, well, Cody's Connections has it on it.
CodysConnections.com.
I wanted to add to some that you hit on, because I used to have this mental block when I first started, and I think a lot of our viewers might be running into is.
So many of our listeners reach out and they ask us how they can get involved in my actual real estate deals. Our investment firm specializes in finding deeply discounted properties, acquiring them, renovating, stabilizing both single-family and multifamily properties all over the United States. That's why we're so excited to share with you clevercapitalfund.com. Now, if you have some investment capital and you want to deploy it and receive double-digit returns backed by real estate, then visit our website and see which fund is right for you. We have both equity funds and we have debt funds where you just get paid out every month like clockwork. All you got to do is visit www.clevercapitalfund.com today to learn more.
Why would people lend me money? Right. So I've educated myself. I'm a deal finder. Maybe I don't want to wholesale this. I want to be the investor on this. And what you said a very powerful word is how is it secured? So someone that's out there new, because that was my mental block. Like, why would someone lend me money?
Sure.
And I couldn't tie in the opportunity, which we're going to force the value
So let's do a 30-second elevator pitch.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
We're just hanging out. It's Friday night. We're, on the 3rd floor of the W Hotel or whatever it is. We're going up to the rooftop. Somebody's in the elevator.
Pitch it to you now.
There's a 3rd floor?
I've
only been to the 2nd floor.
You're at the wrong W.
homie.
So look, man, we're going up to the rooftop, right? We got a 30-second elevator. What do you do? I'm in real estate. Cool. What do you do? I'm a doctor. Okay, great. Obviously, that's amazing. I'm sure that you are working really hard. When you asked what I do, it's kind of like, well, I help people get double-digit returns secured by real estate with their investment passively.
Yep.
So, oh, really? So double-digit returns? Yeah. We go ahead and buy properties that we can add value to. So we buy them at big discounts, and then we force appreciation through renovation. And so we mitigate the risk, but we also put our investor into a lien position secured by real estate. And we usually turn these in about 3 to 4 months. We usually, for each investor, we can get 3 properties done a year, and their returns are in excess of double digit.
Got it.
Boom. Yeah, and that was the mindset shift. It's probably what you experience is you're not asking to borrow money.
Correct. Yeah.
The mindset shift is you're presenting a great opportunity for somebody who's not a real estate expert like you, which is why step number 1 is educate yourself. You have to be able to have this conversation with confidence.
Yeah, you got to be like, hey, and if you're interested, go to workwithbryant.com, and we're probably set up on our next 5 or 10, investment opportunities, but we'll eventually get down. And so you let them know, like, look, this is like scarcity. This isn't for everybody. This is something.
You just said something really important. When you present the opportunity, you're not saying, I need your money right now. I'm desperate for money. Please give me money.
Right.
I'm desperate. I'm desperate.
Loan me. Be a
Loan me.
lender.
No, there's no loan. There's no
is-
lender. It's, in fact, the opposite. And this just plays right into human psychology. And this is why you want to have and get this down early, is you want to be able to go around to all of your, we call them financial friends or friends with lazy money. And trust me, there's a lot of them out there. And they could be new friends that you just meet at the magical third floor in the W. You can present this opportunity, but just let them know, like, I don't have anything available for you right now. In fact, I have more money than I need right now.
Yep.
But when the opportunity comes, I'd love to be able to give you a call. But let me just clarify in how I work. When we build a relationship, I'm gonna and send over, as soon as we're done with this, I'll send you over my credibility packet. I'll send over any information that you need. I'm more than happy to meet you out in any projects that we have going on, to walk you through and give you a tour, just to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. The reality right now is I got a lot of money, and we're really selective on the opportunities that we take on, because our number one goal as an operator is to protect the football. Yeah, we want to make a lot of money, but we don't ever want to lose money. So that's our number one thing. We're slow and methodical and really calculated. Now, with that being said, when the moment comes that I give you a call, I need an immediate yes, I'm in, or a no, thanks, I'm going to pass.
Yep.
There's no hard feelings if you pass, but these deals, the reason we're able to buy at a massive discount is because we close with cash and we move quickly. And you will either screw my opportunities up by going slow, and I'll never call you again. I'll never present another opportunity again. Or you can make a firm decision either way. No hard feelings if you pass. I'll come back on another one, and until we get you the right fit. But the key is speed. So do I have your verbal commitment right now that you're in the game, at least for me to present the opportunity when the time comes?
I love that.
You'd be so surprised at how many people respect that and go, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And that way, 2-3 months down the road, when you finally do need 50K, 80K, 150K, whatever it is, because you got a really great property that you have all packaged up, ready to show, by the time we send it over to them, they see the professionalism, they see that we've done our research and our due diligence and our market research, and they're like, yeah, I'm in.
You talked about, during your speech at the Build Wealth Summit, you talked about a personal brand and the importance of it.
Yeah.
So, when I had mentioned the elevator pitch, work with Bryant.com or whatever the case is, having that social proof that you talked about, and
That's
them
huge.
having the ability to see it consistently, like one project after another, he's posting, dang, Cody just flipped another one. Cody put, his profit check up. Cody did this for the reason why he was going to, make an extra 50 grand on this house, is because he decided to add an extra, bed and bath on the back patio. And so they learn through these things. And then you say, hey, by the way, we have more deals than money right now.
Yep.
We're actually onboarding a few more private investors.
Yep.
If you're one of those select few that we, onboard, you're in it and you get first dibs on future projects, but you got to get into you always call it the boys club, right? The gentleman's club.
Yeah, of course.
Get
for
into
sure.
get
The
into
good
the
old boys
club.
club. Yeah. You know what's funny about that? Because before Investor Lift and before all these high tech, systems came in, the first thing we used to do, because I cut my teeth going into in-person appointments, right? And I started hitting social media really hard. It was back in 18 and 19. And I would literally do a walkthrough video. And so as soon as I got out of the appointment, I had 10, 15 DMs. Tell me about the deal. And started growing that. And what I ended up getting hit up with next was not just buyers, but people, hey, how can I invest? I'm seeing that you're getting all these deals. I had one guy out of Oklahoma, worked in aerospace. I think it was aerospace. And he was ready to deploy $700,000 but just showing that social proof, right, of what you're doing, and you guys do a good job.
And then post investor ABC made $60,000 or $16,000 in 6 months on $60,000.
We need to do that, Brian. We haven't done that. We have the team go through our last 30 payouts to all of our investors and have them build Instagram story posts.
Yep.
Okay.
So that way we can start posting on my IG what the investor returns on. Dude, we had one investor, I don't want to say his name,
Yeah, investor A,
Yeah,
investor
but
B,
we had an
investor C.
investor give us, it was a 4 for 5 program. So the presentation to this particular investor was this: listen, we're building new houses. It's a very simple program. You're going to lend us $400,000 and we're going to hand you back $500,000. That's a 25% return secured by the real estate. And it's going to take us about 12 months to build the house. Now, if we happen to take longer, there's a 6-month extension clause in our contract, but there's a massive penalty. Okay. And that way we're very incentivized to build fast. But if for some reason we don't,
It was about a 20% bump versus the first 12 months of interest. So, massive.
But I mean, it's an incentive. Shoot,
it was a $10,000 a month. It was a $10,000 a month monthly penalty for 6 months.
We're already paying 8.
I know, but but what I'm saying is the penalty is, listen, we are incentivized to do it fast.
Do it quick.
You're okay if we don't, because for the next 6 months you get a $10K payment, which isn't an extra $60,000 if it takes us 18 months to pull the whole thing together.
And over the 15-month period, I think it was like a 37% return on that.
It took us 15 months. The investor got 37% returns.
Yeah.
Who? What? Where can you do that? It's very rare that you can find a credible, and by the way, the house was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, we pre-sold it. We de-risked almost immediately once we got to framing stage, we pre-sold it.
Yeah.
Locked in our profits. The lender had a beautiful house that was being built that their money was secured by.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up pre-selling that thing, locking in a great profit for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that sucked on that deal is it took us a little longer to build it.
Yeah.
Took us 16, 17 months?
Yeah, which,
And that's only because the buyer got involved. And whenever there's a big difference between building a spec house that there's nobody involved in, you just make all the decisions, you get it up on the market and you sell it, versus building for a buyer. When the buyer is involved, they're very picky, very selective. They want different cabinets, different choices, different things. And it just took a lot longer.
That's why you got to actually almost, you talk about your buy box, right? You talk about who's going to buy which properties. They already know which is going to fit their investment criteria.
Yep.
Well, I'd like to flip that script and talk about lenders.
Yeah.
We have to know that we have this type of lender, that needs 25 to 35% returns, but has $400,000 ready to go in 72 hours or less.
Yep.
Then we want the lenders that just want to commit to 3 years, go through our fund, clevercapitalfund.com, and get double-digit returns paid out quarterly over 2, 3, 4 years, right? And they just like that steady money.
Yeah.
Right? Dan Fleischman's the best at this.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his 40-40-20 rule, right? You always put your money into the high risk, the low to medium risk, and then just the steady Eddie money, right? So we've actually learned.
So think about that.
Go ahead,
because we're talking about now the end of the deal. The end of the deal is we've set everything up properly. Now we went and presented the opportunities. We're building our social presence. Leads are coming in. We're presenting. The moment comes, we got a deal. We're ready to actually raise the capital. We reach out to some private lenders. One of them says yes. They're ready to fund the deal. The last part of the money raising transaction is always legal compliance. You got to have your contracts in place. So make sure you got those dialed in. It would be really good for you to, really learn about how to raise private money correctly. You got to understand basic SEC rules. You cannot be pulling investor money into a bucket, meaning I can't go raise money from you and 7 other investors and put all of that money into one bucket and then go buy a property. I would be violating SEC rules at that moment. Yeah. I can take one private lender and put them into one single individual deal as a private lender or a partnership, and now we go and buy this deal.
There's a time limit on that too. It's 9 months or less. Mm. So it's important to understand these rules if you're going to be raising capital.
Talk about
at scale. Go ahead.
No, for sure. I said talk about people that you don't know, like your doctors. You mentioned earlier, when my previous partnership, we had an owner of a title company that would fund all our hotel deals on the spot.
Okay.
Right. We had a partnership with them.
What is a
so
wholesale deal?
A wholesale deal is basically, it's a deal that you actually buy, but you don't actually do the full rehab on it. You might do a trash out. You might clean it out. Potentially
Make it smell good.
Yeah, make it smell good, right?
Look good, smell good,
you
get
know,
it back up on the market.
Exactly. And obviously we know 2021, a little bit in 2022, like those deals were moving, right?
And you're not, and the reason is you have a choice.
Yeah.
You can wholesale it, make 10, 20, 30 grand.
Yep.
Or you can wholesale it,
make 70,
make 70, 80 grand. You're still selling it a little bit below market. You're just kind of undercutting the market because it still needs work, but you're cleaning it up. Little paint, maybe a little carpet, make it smell good. Nothing major.
The most we used to do was trash it out and then wipe down the kitchen and make it just not smell bad anymore. But going back to the point about we've had the owner of this title company, and it was like immediate funding. We built a relationship. They knew that we can come through, and they trusted us, right? As far as being the operators of doing that. But that was only one individual, but we had many others that we can go to if that individual wasn't ready. And it was a great relationship because that's how we were able to go in and beat out the competition.
You found one big money player that was willing to throw down the money on one specific type of deal.
Yep.
And they understood how to underwrite it. They understood what you guys did. They understood that you could perform. You got it done.
And we beat out that's how we were able to beat out a lot of the competition too. Being able to
love that. Just be really clear on the legal compliance side of things. When you're negotiating your terms, you got to be clear about the terms of the investment. You got to be clear about how and when they get paid out. You got to be clear about the security. I actually have a whole entire private money presentation. It's a keynote that I sit down with a private lender. If they're brand new and I don't really have a strong relationship with them, and they're a friend's dad or something like that. It's like, okay, let me just break this down so you can visually see what happens if I die in mid-project. How is your money secured, right? Like give them that peace of mind of like all the little nuances and just show them like you have a choice of where to put your money. You could put it in the turbulent stock market. You could put it over here in this crappy savings account,
CD,
or you can in a CD, or you could put it over here in real estate and get a 12% guaranteed return backed by the real estate.
You know who's really doing an amazing thing right now in the raising private money space is our good dear friend and fellow investor. Thank you, Amy Majori in the house, RPM, raising private money. Go follow her, and she will teach you the ins and outs of raising private money. Vina Jetty just spoke on her stage in Austin this weekend, right after she spoke on Jerome's stage. So
nice.
Go where the experts are, learn from them. She's got a mastermind and online access to her course. And then
the last part of the whole equation, after you raise the money and you have it legally documented properly and you didn't violate any rules and you had them wire it directly into escrow and it's not coming into your personal bank account, right? It's going to escrow and going into the deal. Be very careful if anybody's asking you to send money directly to them. They have to be a professional investor that you have a really great relationship with. We've had lenders send us direct money. That's more of like a just business capital that they're giving us. But the last part of the equation is investor relations. You got to follow up with them and give them constant updates. I'm telling you, we've had lenders go through personal life things where all of a sudden they become a different person in mid renovation. They go through a divorce, their business turns, something happens, and they all of a sudden are checking in like every 5 seconds, like what's going on with the money? How are they? Because now they're panicking, right?
Yeah.
Nothing can calm somebody down more than you being proactive, you putting the stuff together on a monthly basis and just giving them updated pictures of the property and your money is safe and everything's on track, or even the bad stuff like, hey, we hit some roadblocks. These things are happening. Yeah. Here's what we're doing to overcome it. They might not like it, but they'll respect it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your power team, right? We talked about partners, we talked about some lenders, but now we're talking really structuring some legal things and how to stay out of trouble in this business. Mm-hmm. Who's your CPA? Because we're not, right? Here's our disclaimer. This is not legal advice. No. Right? Please go reach your CPA for legal advice.
Shit, I forgot to say that.
And I got your back. That's why I'm your partner, right? Because look, guys, you have to have a power.
Sue anybody other than Cody Sperber and Clever Investor.
You got to figure out who your licensed agent is, who your appraiser friend is, who your title person is, and who your CPA is,
SEC
and who
attorney.
your legal attorney is, and who your SEC attorney is. Those are all things
We've
that
used
you
some
should,
good attorneys.
Yeah, those are all things.
Who are some of our favorite attorneys we've used?
Sean St. Clair with Fowler Law Group is one of the
awesome.
best.
He's wrote all our contracts
We've used Brian Clark, who runs a lot of the other great Avengers funds. We've worked with Mauricio with Premier Law Group. He's amazing. And Gene, who does all of Jerome's stuff and was at the Build Well Summit, Gene Trevor. I got his book on I can't ever pronounce his last name, but I'm reading his book currently because you want to.
Do you even know the name of his book? It's called Book.
Now you're taking me to a whole nother level.
Do you know what he said on the first chapter of his book?
Yes.
What's your favorite quote from the book?
He said raising.
Who's the forward? Who did the forward on it?
It said raising money, a whole business of its own.
Oh man!
Because it is. You cannot treat it as a hobby, or a side
What do you think of people that post and say, I have a deal opportunity, 12% return, and they show percentages and all that? Is that legal to somebody to do that?
Yeah, I don't think that it's not legal.
Okay.
It depends how you structure it. I mean, if they're coming in strictly as a lender,
it's a promise return, right?
Yeah. I think the clarity needs to be around of we're going to pay this return, and it's backed by real estate. That's the guarantee.
Yep.
It's not I'm guaranteeing you this money. I mean, anything can happen.
Yeah, of course.
We're not personally guaranteeing it. We're backing it by the real estate. So here is the asset.
Yep.
It is your responsibility to do the due diligence before you send us the money. But here's what we've done, or here's some basics, and just let us know how you want to play.
That makes sense.
And if you have the capital and you believe in the investment, and you are asked if you will personally guarantee it, look, I would say absolutely, because I like to have a no loss rule with my investors. Like, they're not going to lose. In fact, every single investor that we've ever had has never lost money on a deal. So
what if somebody wants to lend us money?
We may have lost money on a deal. But
we did lose money. We've lost money.
They never lose money on a deal.
A long time I heard,
and you're going to do that. Real estate is real estate. You can't control the uncontrollables.
A long time ago, I heard this real cool quote that goes in line with that said, investors are more concerned with their return of their money than the return on their money. Yeah. Which makes sense, right?
Live to live another day.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
The problem is we've all invested money and lost it, and it has that sour taste in our mouth.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what you want to do, especially if you're going to personally guarantee somebody's investment and get started. You should if that's the case.
Where would somebody go if they want to lend us money?
They could go to clevercapitalfund.com and fill out the contact form, and our investor relations team will set up an appointment. You can actually set up the appointment right then and there. We don't have any active funds that we're raising money for currently. Our last one just closed in August, but we are starting a $25 million equity fund in the next 60 days for the new year that we're going to do a lot of cool things with in the affordable housing games.
Affordable housing, bigger commercial projects.
Absolutely. We're going to do some more spec building and, some single tenant, triple net lease deals that are already cash flowing. And we're going to share in some of the equity with some K1s, and more to come on that offering soon.
Yeah. Nice. Clevercapitalfund.com. All right, cool. Hey, look, we had a little bit of fun. I like it. We kept this one under 45 minutes. This is a world record. Normally I go on these interviews like an hour 10, hour 15, hour 20.
It was a good conversation too, actually.
Yeah, look, if you're a newer investor and you never really thought about leveraging and using other people's money, it's not as scary as you think. No. We covered a lot of ground here. There is a formula to it, right? It kind of broke some of that down. A little structure is just like, there's the beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning is setting it up all correctly, educating, learning everything. Yep. The middle is going and building your network, presenting the opportunity, just getting everybody lined up and on deck while you're continuing to build your credibility and leveraging other people's credibility and building your I call it a brag book. Yep. So that way, when the moment comes where a great opportunity comes, you can go out to your private lenders, present, and get a firm yes or I'm sorry, I'm going to pass real quick, and keep moving down until you find the right partner for you or the right lender for you. And then boom, before you know it, it only takes like 1 or 2 wins before something funny happens. And this is the struggle with poor people. Poor people always feel like, God, nobody's going to lend me money. you get to a point where it's so much easier to raise money. You get a few wins. The more money is flying at you than you actually need. And this is the challenge between poor and rich people. Rich people have access to too much capital, and poor people need the access to the capital.
Yeah.
But they're just not doing some of the right money moves to shift themselves over. And it's not as far as you think. So even if you're brand new, you're right there. And then the last part of that puzzle was just making sure you're legally compliant, making sure you're following up with your investors, doing great relations. As long as you do all of those things like we talked about, you're going to do great.
Yeah.
You're going to do great. I want to give away a free resource just in case you guys just want to get into the money-making game. Go to fliphousesbook.com. It's my book that I wrote. I've had over 100,000 people download it. It's just a simple how to wholesale real estate book. It's been stolen. It's been duplicated, but you can't ever take away the fact that I'm the OG in this space.
Never replicate it.
That's right. It's never replicated, but now it's yours to replicate. So hopefully you get out there and do something with the information. And until next time, we're out of here. Take care. Comb your hair. Peace. Hey, Cody Sperber, the original Clever Investor, host of the Clever Investor Show podcast. And I'm shooting this ad right now to let you know that this podcast exists. It's finally out and we have some amazing guests. So please, I'm begging you, can you just come and give our podcast a listen? I've been doing real estate for a really long time. I've accessed some of the coolest people in the world. We were having all these amazing conversations and I'm like, what are we doing? Let's record this and actually put it out on a podcast. But the problem is, I have to let people know about it. That's where this ad comes in, and this is where you come in. You're going to be able to learn from successful entrepreneurs, get in-depth interviews from amazing leading experts. You're going to learn real estate investing strategies and tactical trading strategies that work in today's market. We're going over market analysis and different market predictions. You're going to be able to engage in an awesome community. And we go into some pretty deep dives on the mindset of what it takes to win the game of money and in life, plus lots of bonus resources and exclusive content. So what you're going to want to do right now is click the link that you see on your screen and give the show a subscribe today. We have amazing guests like Ken McElroy and Robert Kiyosaki and Wes Watson and Pace Morby and Jameel Damji and Vina Jetty and a whole host of amazing men and women entrepreneurs that you're going to love to learn from and get to know. So what you want to do right now is click that link and give the show a subscribe today.